Hi there, YMCA friends and family. This is a 15-minute form tip workout. So really, it's just to give you the base knowledge on how to do these moves safely and effectively, and to give you the best results possible. Today we're going to go over the squat, a lunge, plank, and push-up. So those 4 moves, and actually those 4 moves are going to work the entire body. So if you can master these 4 moves, even not using any extra weight at all, but just your body, you'll see some kind of results if you do them with proper form. So let's start. I will say that the most important tip I can give you for any kind of movement is to always brace your core. Your core controls everything. So let's start right there. I want you to think about bringing your belly button back into your spine. And if you're like, I don't know what she's talking about, clear your throat or cough. When you make that noise, something happens in your core, right? You feel muscles tighten up a little bit. That's what I want you to find. Belly button to spine and pull it in, drawing the belly button towards the spine. Okay, I'm not going to say it again because I said it enough, but get that? That's bracing your core. Okay, tip number 1. Now with the squat, we're going to start with our feet slightly wider than our hips. So go ahead and find that, keeping your knees nice and soft. Core is braced. We're always going to come back to it. I'm not going to talk about how to do it again, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to remind you until you remember, and it becomes part of your natural body alignment, okay? All right, so drawing the core in, softening the knees. Now your toes can be forward or slightly turned out. That's a preference on what feels good for your knees. I'm going to turn my toes slightly out, just a little bit. Like, I'm not talking like that, just a tiny bit, little bit of turned out. Chest is up. So nice and proud chest instead of hunching forward. We're going to draw our shoulders up, back, and down. And then a little tiny pinch right between the shoulder blades. Again, core is still braced. Okay, so let's review. Feet slightly wider than the hips, toes slightly turned out, knees soft, core braced, shoulders up, back, and down, chest nice and proud. Now, to do the move, we're going to push the butt back. The butt goes back and down towards the floor. And as you sit back, like sitting in a chair that's just not there, you're going to stop when your butt hits knee height, if you can get that low. And if you can't get that low, that's okay. You stop where you feel comfortable. And then you're going to draw the heels into the floor, squeezing through your glutes with your butt cheeks to rise. So from the side, looks like this. You're sitting back as far as you can go. The whole time I go down, my chest is staying lifted as opposed to dropping my head down. We see this a lot. And this isn't good for your low back if you're going to drop your head. Also, dropping your head kind of can make you feel dizzy, right? And that's also not a safe movement. So chest up, head up. You want your head, neck, and shoulders always in line. Booty goes back, and you're pushing through the heels to rise. And then once you get that, you can go up and down as many times as you can do and start to feel the burn in the quads. Now, another tip. When you sink back, your knee goes in line with your foot, okay? But you never want your knee to go in front of the toe. If you feel your heels pop up off the floor, not good. Reset. Restart over. Start from the top. Go over every position and then go straight down. Try not to let your knees buckle in. That's also going to hurt your knees. And you don't want to go the sides of your foot and your knees out wide. Now what you can do to change up your squat is to take your feet wider. Then you turn your toes out even wider and you're going to sink down. But again, knees stay in line with the foot. So if your feet are wide, your knees go wide. If your feet are in narrow, your knees are going to stay in line with the foot. Good? Squat. Check. Moving on. Lunges. Lunges are so fun. Don't you roll your eyes at me. Lunges, we're going to take 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Now to start this movement, same idea that we started with the squat. Core must be braced. Shoulders up, back, and down. A little tiny pinch in the shoulder blades. When you step that back foot back, your heel is lifted up off the floor. You are drawing a line straight down the body and you're targeting down towards the floor. So that back knee bent to 90 degrees, the front knee bends to 90 degrees, the chest stays up, shoulders back and down, chest proud, and you're lifting straight back up. So down and up. Error is pushing forward. You never want this knee to draw over the toe, right? You're going to keep your knee in the lunge in line with the ankle. See what happens there? It never pushed forward. And that back knee stays in line with the hip, going straight down, targeting the ground. and straight back up. So listen, you can go shorter range. The smaller your range is, the easier it's gonna be. So if you're gonna stay top right here, easy. If you're gonna start to get a little bit deeper in the lunge, it's gonna get a little bit more challenging. So start with small movements, then increase your range. Okay, make sure back heel is lifted, front heel pushes through the floor on the lunge. Just changing sides. Now, when we draw down towards the ground, even weight between the 2 feet. So heel pushes down, follow the foot on the back foot pushes down, heel lifted, and then rise. So that's the lunge, down and up. How do you guys feel so far? Those 2 moves for the legs, awesome work. And not only are you working your low body, you're also working your core, yeah? Yeah, because we're always bracing our abs, belly button, spine. Got it? All right, so we're gonna take it down to the floor. I know a lot of people struggle with the plank. We're gonna start with the plank. A great idea is to find a wall or a countertop if you're looking at this video from home. And you're gonna put your hands on the wall or on your countertop and you're gonna lean in. If you're gonna use the wall, hands are nice and high and they're in line with the shoulders. Hands are going straight out, right against the wall. If you're on your countertop, you're gonna walk your feet back so you're at a diagonal line and hands are gonna go down, okay? Now, if you're gonna come down to the floor, it's gonna be your hardest option, so we're gonna start with easier options and then we're gonna work our way to a more advanced plank. First option, you start in a tabletop. Now, just like the squat and lunge, we start this movement with a strong core. So draw your belly button in towards your spine, then take your shoulders, pulling them away from the ears, back and down, and of course a little tiny pinch of those shoulder blades, always important, okay? Now, if you're feeling okay right here, you're gonna take your hands further up. You're gonna drop your hips down. This is a modified plank on the knees. Notice my toes. They're staying down on the floor, okay? Hips drop, and you're in one long line, leading from the tip of your head down to your knees. Now, if you feel like you can take it to the next level, you're tucking your toes under, and you're lifting up to a full plank. Now your gaze, straight down. You want your head, neck, and spine all in line. So you're looking straight in front. You can look in between the hands, you can look right at the edge of your mat, whatever feels good for that neck, but you want your head, neck in line with the spine. If you start to feel shaky, you need to drop out of it. All you need to do is slowly drop down to the knees. Now check out your hand positioning. If you're struggling with keeping your balance, widen out your fingertips a little bit more, okay? Now when you hold this plank, you don't want to lock out through the elbows. You want to keep them nice and soft. You want your arms straight, but you don't want your elbows locked. Fingers wide, and this is it. And you're gonna practice this. And you're gonna start to feel the muscles in the quads turn on, the heat in the core, your shoulders start to burn. All of that's good stuff, and you should feel that as you work the plank. Good? Now that we've learned the plank, all we're gonna do is transition into the push-up. Now, I know for some of you, you have not found your love relationship with the push-up. All you have is the hate relationship. But listen, that love-hate relationship is gonna come together. You're gonna eventually just love the push-up because it works if you do it with safe and effective form. Okay, so let's start with a narrow push-up. Some like to call it a tricep push-up. Some like to call it a mid push-up, narrow grip push-up, whatever you wanna call it. We're gonna start with our hands nice and wide, just like we had with the plank. And you're gonna drop to your knees to start for the first round. Your elbows are gonna draw back in line with the rib cage. Palms press through the floor, abs are braced, and then you press through the palms to rise up. You drop as low as you can go. Check out where my elbows are. Close in towards the body. Tuck in the chicken wings. Head in line with spine. Press up. A nice option, if you're very, very, very new to push-ups, is to start in this tabletop option we started with the plank, and just push through the palms, elbows draw back towards the knees, and then rise. And then you're gonna build from this push-up position right here. And you know what's okay is to start here, then try a couple with your knees back and your hips down, and then maybe you only get one in today, and then you transition here, and you come back here. But you know what's not gonna help? If you never try that transition, right? Like, This is good to get stronger a little bit, but you're never gonna get stronger in this movement if you don't try the next level. So from here, drawing the core in, your elbows draw back and push up. So that's our narrow push up. Now we're gonna take our hands a little bit wider, so that narrow push up really targets the back of the arms and the shoulders. So that tricep area. As we walk our hands a little bit wider, let's take them to the outside of the mat if you have a mat handy. Our hands are still staying in line with the shoulders, okay? Or walk them back slightly in line with the chest. Now listen, here is the important tip. Other than bracing your core and keeping your head in line with spine and your shoulders a little pinched together, when you drop into this wide push-up, listen to where your elbows go. Have some body awareness here. Your elbows are pushing back and in line with your chest, not your shoulders. That's important. So I'm gonna turn away from you and I'm gonna show you. This would be wrong. Elbows here are in line with the shoulders. You want your elbows here in line with the chest. So look at my elbows. From my elbow to the tip of my head, down to my elbow, down to my other elbow, makes a shape like this, like a triangle, right? So that's the form. Right here is where you want to be. Hands in line with shoulders, or can drop down a little bit closer down to the chest, but elbows must be in line with the chest, all right? Play with that movement. See what works for the hand positioning, but elbows must drop back and down as opposed to up here. Now, if you keep your elbows nice and high, you're gonna end up hurting your shoulder. So if you feel that strain in your shoulder, try pushing your elbows back and see how that feels. Another nice tip before we leave today, your chest drops to elbow crease height and then straight back up. That is your range. And once you successfully complete a push-up on the knees, your next level is off the knees. You're down and up. As you're off the knees, your body stays in one long line, down and up. As you drop to the floor is where you need to brace your core the most to protect that low back. And that is so, so super important. The stronger your core is, the better your back is gonna feel. So protect it. Belly button to spine helps support that low back. Guys, if you have any questions about these tips, please email me. We love helping you guys out with your form because we know that's gonna set you up for success and prevent injury. And we want that for you, right? We want you to keep coming back, working in a safe and effective way. My email address is jcanan@ymcagbw.org. So that's our first form tip. We got squats, lunges, plank, push-up. Now go ahead and practice and reach out if you need some support. From DJ Mac, from the Y, the Greater Brandywine. Thanks for joining in today. Until next time, peace on out.